Hey there, guys. So, a question I've got a few times from you is, what is the quickest way to get bigger and stronger? There is no very quick way. It takes years and years of training to develop a substantial physique, and the same thing can be said of strength. Strength, I'd even say, takes longer because you really need to learn your movement patterns, and that just takes heaps and heaps of repetitions, volume upon volume, and years of training just to accumulate that. So strength is definitely a long-term approach, and then still building significant size. That takes time, but strength would obviously take a little bit longer. And when it comes to building muscle mass and strength, look at your local gym and how long it actually takes people to progress. And a lot of that will come down to, one, they're just going through the motions. They're not really trying to strive, or they don't have goals, or significant goals, should I say. If you set goals for yourself and keep yourself accountable, it's going to make a big difference. Just don't go through the mere motions, because at the end of the day, that's not going to get you the physique that you want. Also, have a look at your exercise selection. You get out what you put in. So training your compound movements is going to make a massive difference versus your isolation movements. They do have their place, but if you're trying to pack on as much muscle mass and size and strength as possible, you're better off sticking to the compound movements. And again, you get out what you put in, and a lot of people just avoid squats, bench, deadlifts, especially squats and deadlifts, because they are so taxing. It's so much easier to use a leg press as opposed to squat, and it's so much easier to use a lat pull down as opposed to doing heavy deadlifts. So at the end of the day, you really do get out of it what you put in. And my biggest advice would be, stick to the basics. Stick to squat, bench, deadlift, shoulder press, and row. I'd still throw in some bicep curls and hammer curls, because it's nice to have some symmetry and balance in the arm. And you'll also find, for a lot of your pressing movements, having more muscle mass, especially around your elbow joint, is going to act as a stabilizing factor, especially as the weight becomes more significant. And the other thing, any athlete, they always want a good set of arms. So apart from the occasional set of curls, you don't have to do heaps of sets by any means. 4 sets a week is plenty, especially if you're doing all your heavy compound movements. Pull-ups and chin-ups are still going to hit the arms very well. But if you're just using pull-ups and chin-ups to grow your back, you'd probably want to think twice, because it's going to generally be your arms that are giving out. When it comes to squats, you've got your normal squats, and then you've got front squats. For me, I really enjoy front squats, and I find they have a lot of positive carryover to traditional squats. But the biggest thing I get out of front squats especially is, you need to keep your chest up, and then you learn how to drop your hips beneath you. Weight's a little bit less that you move, but then again, if you lean slightly forward, you lose the bar. Traditional squats, you can drop your chest a little bit, which can lead to you, grinding out some pretty ugly reps. And long term, if you do that, it's going to catch up with you, and your lower back really isn't going to like it. And that brings me to another point. Squatting heavy and deadlifting heavy, both in the same week, I don't find it feasible. I might squat heavy one week, then deadlift heavy the next week. In my heavy squat week, I might then do a light deadlift session. And in my heavy deadlift week, it might only be a light squat session. Because have a look at the muscles being used, and you'll also find out that your lower back is heavily utilized on both movements. So from a fatigue management point of view, you really want to look at how you're loading your lower back. Unlike a sore shoulder, you can get through life, but if your lower back packs up, good luck. You understand what lower back pain can be like, and you only have one lower back as opposed to 2 shoulders or 2 elbows. So I always treat that with care, and I look out for my lower back, and that makes a big difference as well.